Hmm. So welcome, welcome. As you know, I'm Rachel Chase, and this is our full moon healing and intuition women's circle. And I'm calling this event Transforming Fear into Love and Worry into Trust. We're going to do that together. We're going to actively do that with some practices and processes that are grounded in mindfulness, in yoga, in depth psychology, if you will, in somatic wisdom, emotional processing, all these beautiful things, and some esoteric ideas will come through. I'm looking down because I have some notes below, and I want to be sure that I get to all these tonight because they're really important. And first, I'll just share a little bit about why I decided to do this tonight. I always like to have a monthly circle of some kind or a gathering in some way around the new moon or the full moon, because they're really beautiful activation points in the month, and they represent the cycles of ebb and flow and beginnings and endings. So this particular full moon coming up on Wednesday, the 26th, is very powerful. It's a full lunar eclipse. It's a full lunar eclipse, full moon, and it's also called a supermoon, which means the moon is very close to the earth. It's known as the flower moon or the blood moon. And we have some really powerful energies. So I'm going to just talk about what they are for a moment. We'll reflect on how these themes might be showing up for ourselves personally and collectively. And then I'll talk a little bit about some topics about compassion and communication and the gifts of this full moon to strengthen our intuition. And we'll do some journaling and visualization and some body movements too. And so the big gift of this full moon is it's like it's like the themes of a full moon. Generally, we say that new moons are about planting the seeds and fresh starts, and new moons are fresh starts. Full moons are letting go, release, clearing. And if there's ever a full moon that means that, it's this one. And so, what to clear, what to release? Well, we're going to look at some of the metaphors of the astrology. And I like to think of astrology and the stars as, if we think of how spirit is within us and we are within it, and it's all an expression of the oneness of God, if you will. The stars and the map of our sky is within us. It's not our master control system, just as much as we're not its master control system. There's a story being played out, and it's reflected in the sky. It's reflected in our lives. And sometimes when we look at these stories through the lens of archetype, of these themes and symbolic ways of being that are universal, it helps us to understand ourselves and the world that we're in, and have a more unattached, not detached, but helps us have a more neutral perspective. And in yoga, we talk a lot about the aspects of the mind. This is not just yoga, this is esoteric wisdom in all wisdom traditions. At the heart, it's about, training the mind to see through the heart. And the heart sees things through the lens of unconditional acceptance and compassion. Now, that's not so easy for our wounded human egos, our wounded human selves, or our inner child self, however you want to term this, the wounds that we have. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about that, the wounds that are coming up at this time to be healed, the disruptions that we see happening and how that's bringing up these wounds, and then the way forward, which is to look at our own selves and clean house. And could say on the one hand, let go of, release the emotional baggage. You could say that, or you could say, resolve and accept and forgive and allow. And so, full moon, Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy tells the story of particular direction of making a determined choice. And so we're going to look at the fact that right now so much is coming up around what are you ready to change? And this moon is a gift to change those things. It's a gift. It's an energy that's happening right now of great change, right? So much change is happening. There's an arc period of time of number of years where Pluto is actually in Capricorn. And so Capricorn represents the structures and systems in place in the world. And Pluto represents total transformation, eradication, if you will, death, if you will, the breaking down of something to make way for the new that is trying to come through. We are on the cusp of the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius. And if you think about that, there's been an epoch of thousands and thousands of years where we've been more in this energy of that Piscean age. And Piscean age is like consciousness and dream state and living in a realm that is surreal almost, and then coming into the age of Aquarius, which is more about, oh, we're all free now from that dream state, and we are going to create the world that we truly dream of and make that a reality. But we're like in this growing pain cusp transition of that. And so that's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. I mean, to put it nicely, so when we look at sensations and when we look at emotions and when we look at the wounds, and we look at how frustrating it is, it's hard. It's not easy to learn how to handle that frustration when there's been so many years and years and years and so many of our lives of confusion and doubt and pitting people against each other. And so I work with many people individually and in groups, and I have clients that come to me to work through things in their lives. And it's work. It is, isn't it? It's work. But it isn't unfixable. It isn't undoable. These are things that we can handle and we can do. And the tools for the healing process and empowerment and ability to move through that stuff are just right at our fingertips. Now more than ever, all of the information is out more than ever around how to heal ourselves, how to make peace with the past, essentially. That's what I'm talking about. So eclipses are all about change. This is every year we have eclipse season, and here we go. We're in it now. We're in it now. And there's this beautiful opportunity for us to look at where we close our hearts. When we just say, no, I can't even look at that, or I don't have room for that. Where we see that being reflected or where others might be doing it. How can we have real compassion for that and understand that that is essentially what you might call a trauma response? We're afraid to feel the connection with something because we're afraid it's going to hurt us because we've been hurt before. I'm going to look at where we can take responsibility for those moments and responsibility for our the times that we basically responsibility for our relationships, responsibility for our relationship with ourselves and each other, you know, and as women, we're innately creative. And when we feel stifled in our creative flow, and I think men too, you know, stifled, if that part of that creative energy inside feels stifled, wow, you know, then what is it that's in the way? And sometimes it's something external. But how do we then shift that and find a new way? So the energy that's coming through is to assist us in remembering how powerful our ability to create is, our higher mind, our intuition, our imaginal self, the collective visioning that's going on that isn't televised necessarily. It's not on the news. Excuse me. The collective visioning that's going on by those of us that are in our hearts. We can perceive you. Can you do it? Can you perceive? Let's perceive together. Let's perceive that world of collaborative cooperation. Can you do that? Can you even imagine that? I mean, some folks maybe can't even imagine it because it just seems too far fetched, you know, like a pipe dream, you know, some kind of utopian impossibility. But isn't it possible? Don't you think it could be possible? And isn't that the way anything ever is really created in the visceral realm, is first through the mind realm, through our words, through our ideas, through the holographic imprint of the imagination. And so it's going to require us to have a real strong practice of pausing, taking those breaths, and getting into as much joy and gratitude and compassion for ourselves and life as we possibly can. So, and also to allow ourselves to feel, to give ourselves permission to feel grief, for, well, the loss of loved ones perhaps who've passed on, but also grief for the loss of the things that we thought were going to be that aren't, the way we had hoped things would turn out, right? You know, and so, you know, sometimes we switch into that mode of like, well, I should be grateful for what I have, so I shouldn't feel this way because I should just be grateful. Well, you can be grateful and sad at the same time. The sadness doesn't have to define you. Neither does the anger, neither does the rage. But wouldn't it be nice if we let the compassion define us? And then that compassion can hold space for all those other emotions, all the wounds, sadness and the pain and the anger. Because so what I'm inviting in is this process that strengthens that muscle, if you will. If compassion were a muscle, we're going to strengthen that tonight. I'm going to share a little personal moment in my life that I have a family member, and she and I have been communicating about some things that we don't necessarily see eye to eye on. But the one thing that we really see eye to eye on is our love for each other. And that's the most important thing in our lives, in our relationship, in the life between us. And that the things that we don't see eye to eye on, we want to understand each other and know about each other. But we're not going to try to convince the other out of the way that they see things, because that's the way they see things. That's the way I see things, you know? And so we're learning from each other, you know? And so it's about holding space for the frustration that you don't see eye to eye, you know? And that's happening big time right now, right? So much of that, it's like the splicing of information and then mixing it around in a big soup. And it's like a strange collage going on, that map that we can't, what used to go this way doesn't. And then, so reconciling all these things, right? This is part of that deconstruction of the systems. This is part of that, what's just happening, you know? And so this full moon eclipse, I wanted to do this tonight in preparation for it, so that on Wednesday night, when it's happening, you might even be able to see it. I think we can see it in parts of North America. I didn't double check to see exactly where it's visible from. But even if you can't see it, this is affecting everyone. Maybe do like a ritual burn, or of something you're just like, I'm ready to let go of this. It's just causing too much frustration in my life and it's not worth it. I'm ready to let go of the fight against the frustration. I'm ready to just allow myself to just be frustrated sometimes. I'm going to let go of that. I'm going to, you know, whatever it is, maybe do a dance in the ocean, whatever it is that signifies the story of releasing. Just, celebrate that. Because when you do that, you're going to automatically empower this incredible ability that we have to be in our intuition. Because when we have all that stuff that's just in our way of being able to just be with life and live from our hearts, when we clear that space, this connection is just so much easier to get in touch with. And that's the practice of acceptance. That's the practice of allowing, surrendering. Jupiter is in Pisces, so we have this expansion of the emotional energy and this expansion of the watery, intuitive. So we have a lot of these gifts, and it's also right now known as the Pleiadian portal, which is really neat because the Pleiades represent another. This is also another feminine archetype of self-compassion, compassion, and self-healing, love, unconditional love, to use it to heal yourself and to use your creative intuition. So, all right, let's get into some practices here. Yeah, it's time. Let's do it. So I'm going to invite you to bring your palms together at your heart center. Take 3 deep, slow breaths. You can exhale nose or mouth. It's up to you. Feel your belly breathing in and out naturally. Feel your body expand and contract and soften. Notice if there's any tension in your body and breathe and release. And then when you're done with your third exhale, bring your hands above the head with the palms still touching. And take a big breath and just kind of lift the hands up a little and just look up a little bit. Stretch your spine a little and then open the arms out and down to the sides. Slowly exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. Palms at the heart. Inhale, go up. Exhale, open up and down. One more time. And then relax your hands down. And make a big sighing sound. Okay. So we're going to first look at one thing that you would like to heal at this time that's inside of you. A relationship thing with yourself, or an emotion that keeps coming up, or some anxieties that are happening, or maybe an old pattern you're trying to shift, or something that's going on in a relationship with you, with someone else that you'd like to invite in some softening through that, and just something personal for yourself. If it's a relationship with another, just make sure it's not just about them and what you want for them, but that this is about you. It will affect them too, because you'll be shifting your energy. So this is about you. Okay, we're going to do a little process here, and I'm going to just let you know that if at any time we're doing this process, your body needs to move or adjust, or you need to sigh or shake or do any little movements, it's a really good thing to just let your body do that. And if you feel like you want to just hold your heart and hold your belly, that's always something you can do too, or rub your legs, whatever it is. So you don't necessarily have to sit still, but if it's stillness that feels right, then stillness it is. So whatever feels good, okay? All right, so now I'm going to have you, as you brought the thought up about what you would like to release or heal at this time, you've got the sort of story about it going on. Think about the story of it for a moment. And we're doing that on purpose because when we think about the story of it, that automatically will connect you to the emotions of the story, because the thoughts and the emotions live in the body. So you'll start to feel it. That's how we work, our emotions in the body. And the first place that your mind goes to, just pick one. There might be multiple, but we're just going to pick one and know that when we work in one area, it's going to help the other areas, because we're a whole system. We're one big system, and when we work in one area, it's automatically adjusting and harmonizing other areas. So the story, and then the feeling and the emotion, and I want you to go in your body. The first place that you go when you think about this and you're feeling this emotion about it, whatever you feel about the thing. Maybe it's just a straight up emotion that you're like, I'm trying to clear anger or whatever it is. Just go straight into your body. This isn't about a big deal trauma, but let's just go into the gentleness of sensing the emotion that's coming up right now. And I want you to breathe deeply as you do this, okay? Give yourself some space with it and notice the sensation there in the body part, and just kind of get real neutral and curious about the sensation of the emotion. Is it tight? Is it heavy? Is it light? Is it moving? Does it feel shaky? Does it feel heavy? What does it feel like? Describe it with some adjectives in your mind. And breathe in deep and go, and do that again. And again, once more. And then now we're all going to place one hand on the center of the chest or right on the heart, whichever feels, whatever you want to do. And then the other hand on the belly. And then I want you to imagine some light up above your head, just twinkling down and coming down into the body. Just some sparkling light. Let it come down. Breathe it in. And let it flow down into your head, your throat, your chest. Let it pool in your heart. Let it gather and pool like a little pool of energy in your heart center. And then let that open and drop and flow like a waterfall or a little river of light that flows down to your belly and down to the root of your body and through your legs, your feet, and into the earth. Breathe in and out. Make a sigh. Open your mouth, make it like movement. Maybe circle your head and shake and just get some catharsis. Catharsis just means using body and emotion and sound and to move it out and make a kind of energetic expression that can shift that from being held in to being released out. Okay, so that's our first practice. So take a breath, get a little water, take a beat, maybe a little journaling, a little writing about how you feel right now for a moment. I have some peppermint tea, which is nice and calming. And so take your time doing that. And while you do that, just listen. I'm going to share about this idea of transforming fear into love and worry into trust. So basically, we're going to do that process that we just did in a similar fashion with a couple of parts added. And the first part is feeling into the awareness of fear. Now, as we each individually do this work, we are sending the effect of the shifting of it. I'm going to shift it. That shift causes a ripple effect, which is assisting others in doing this for themselves as well. So, fear into love. I want you to think about right now, at this moment in time, not something in the past. We're not going to try to uncover some old traumas right now. That's not the idea. The idea is, because if we're going to do something like that, we need to really work one-on-one, or really, not just as a video, but like I need to be able to hold better space for you to do that deeper, bigger work, okay? And tonight is more about working with the here and now to harness the full moon energy. Now, the great thing about the here and now is we're sending, again, the ripple effect goes out. It's real. It goes into the past and goes into the future. When we work with what is coming up in the here and now, it helps to shift subconscious beliefs, all of that. Stuff that's been imprinted since we were children, all of that, okay? So tuning into any of that fear energy that maybe you've been empathically picking up on from the collective even. Fear of not knowing what's true and right, because when we believe that we don't know what's true and right, it cuts off our ability to trust our intuition. So tonight we're really going to shift that belief, which is that fear is even really needed right now. It's interesting. Is fear needed? When is fear really needed? When is it needed? To let us know when we're in danger, right? So it's interesting to trust one's intuition. Is like it's the still small voice within that says, yeah, that's right. Or that just doesn't feel right. No, that's not for me. And we need to be able to get calm and centered in order to access that gentle intuitive, like, yeah, that just feels right. Or, it's not right. It's just not feeling right for me, at least not at this time. So intuition isn't like, it's not fear. It's not fear. That's what it's not. Intuition is not fear. Okay? So you better believe if you're getting this like freak out fear thing about something, it's not your intuition. Now, fear can be very useful when we're running from a demon or somebody's coming at us to harm us, right? Like fight, flight, freeze. Okay. But here's this sort of strange thing, this fear energy that's just kind of like, it's like a blanket that's all over everything right now. All the media coming at us, right? This information age, but we're moving from the information age to the transformation age, where we are more and more able to access our ability to shift things. So it's going to behoove us to really stand strong in our knowing of that truth, that we do have this ability, that we don't have to stay stuck and live according to anyone else's rules, but what we know is right for us. So, fear into love, fear into love. So let's feel that for a moment. Let's tap in. Just imagine where fear has been around or just shows up for you in general in your body. If then, when you feel fear, when you notice, let's say, notice it, this is the great work of mindfulness, is to move from identifying with the emotion as ourselves and into noticing the emotion as an emotion, as energy. So we notice it, and we identify where it is in the body. And we breathe deep. I want you to imagine this fear has a shape or a color. If it had a color or a shape, what might it be? And where in your body might it be? And I want you to ask it what it has to say. What might it say? So, in that way, we're acknowledging that it's there. And we're presencing it and we're listening to it. So, we're not trying to fight against it. This is the big, I want to say, lesson almost of our human nature, to learn how to not fight the fear itself. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself, right? There's a lot of truth in that. So, what if we weren't afraid of the fear? What if we noticed it? We got curious about it. And we felt it when it's in our bodies. We said, okay, here it is. Here's this thing. We're going to call it fear. Now, ask this fear, is this fear necessary? And if it says yes, then you ask it why. And you keep asking until you get real clarity, and you keep questioning. Keep questioning. So when we live in the question, we don't get so attached to the definition of what fear wants to give us, that why we should be afraid. So the more we keep working with it head on without fighting it, we literally just face it and keep questioning and wondering and asking, the more things soften, the more the relationship with the fear softens, and the less we identify as fearful, you see. So then it's I am me and it is it. Now, I am me. What do I choose to be? And this is where we are beginning to shift and identify as the compassionate wise one. This is what I like to call the compassionate wise one. As in psychotherapy, we have these sort of like different minds we talk about, and wise mind is one of them. In mindfulness and in working with it on this spiritual awareness level, compassionate wisdom. That's the deepest wisdom there is. Now, compassion sometimes can pull us into the sadness sometimes, right? Like, because we can have such compassion for the world that it might weigh on us, right? That's okay. But even that, we don't need to identify as. We can feel that and not be afraid of it too. So this is another thing. Sometimes we're afraid to have compassion for something because we worry that if we have compassion for it, then we're going to take it on. Well, it doesn't have to belong to you. It can still be it, while I am I. While you are you, this being of love. So when I say transforming fear into love, I mean transforming from the identity of fearfulness to the awareness of lovingness for yourself, first and foremost. Now, it doesn't mean we don't feel the hurt. We feel that because things matter. We're not going to be, love is not a robot. Whoever said that, nobody. But that's funny. Love is not a robot. Never said that before. Why would anyone think that? That's so interesting. Misinterpreted. Some folks don't know how to love, and so they do turn into robots, don't they? Yeah. Maybe they weren't taught how. They become hard or callous or detached in a way that they don't even realize they're being detached, and that's the only way they know how to love. So again, here we are looking at things, and this is how we transform it through our body, through the breath, to the shifting of the emotions, to the reorienting back with source energy and this flow of so when I say source energy is everything. It's all essence of life. Everything is made up of the stuff of source energy. Source energy is life, the earth, your bodies. But when we do the practice of connecting with the vertical flow of it, it helps to orient us more with the vibration of spirit in that way that's like, it helps us from getting distracted and pulled into the human drama. So when we get so caught up in it all, we kind of, can get closed off sometimes. We can forget that it even exists, right? Like, I just forgot to ask the universe for help today. Oh my God, I was going through my day. I got up, I made my coffee, had my breakfast, went to work, came home. Oh my God, I had a glass of wine, just watched Netflix, and I went to bed. I forgot to ask the universe for help today, You ever had one of those days? So this is a reminder for all of us to remember this connection. This connection. So we're going to do a little visualization here in a minute. All right, so now I want you to bring up, let's take some breaths and reset and come back to presence, come back to connecting with the cosmic wisdom within the sanctuary, the inner temple, the inner sanctum, whatever that means to you. First, we want to establish that connection, and then we do the emotional clearing process. First, we establish that connection. Even if it's like kind of foggy and we're not sure how to get there, and we haven't done it much lately, or we forgot, and we used to know, it's fine. Just imagine you do have that connection. Maybe if you have to picture like a color or a light or a doorway or a beautiful garden or somewhere outside, but put it in yourself, put it in your body. Otherwise, we're like escaping out to it. And that's not what this practice is about. It's not about escaping. It's about dwelling in the vibration of that source energy. Cosmic wisdom is there inside of you. So you breathe and you set an intention to listen to it, and you wait until you hear it one day and it starts to speak to you. And then you get the hang of it and you do it some more and you do it some more and you do it some more and you keep the connection going again and again and again until it becomes more natural and normal. That's what it means to practice. And you can call it prayer, you can call it meditation, you can call it whatever you want to call it. Communicating with the divine, listening to it, and using affirmative prayer. We're going to do an affirmative prayer tonight, which means we're cooperating with the divine to manifest love, beauty, harmony. So now let's shift some worry into trust. Okay, what are you worried about? Don't tell me nothing. Don't lie to me. There's worry here, whether it's big or small. You might be mildly worried about something, or you might be really worried about something. But there's some worry energy around. What is your inner child worrying about right now? What is your ego worrying about right now? These days, this week, today, earlier, tomorrow. Worried about something, worried about someone. I want you to feel where you feel the worry energy in your body and describe the sensation. Where is it? Name the place. How does it feel? Name the sensation. Even if you're like, I don't know the sensation, it just feels like worry. Well, when you say it feels like worry, what hits in your body? What does your body do? Does it get heavier, lighter? Do you feel tightness in the chest? Do you feel something in your gut? What are you feeling? Maybe it's your shoulders or your head or your knee. I don't know. Breathe in deep and blow. Tap around the chest. And bring your focus down to wherever you feel that worry energy, and breathe deep in and out. Tap around your belly. Give yourself permission. You can even say it's okay to feel this worry. You can tap under the arms, and tap around the shoulders, the forehead, anywhere you feel called to tap around the emotion points, around the eyes, upper lip, lower lip, eyebrows, top of the head. Breathe. Hold. Imagine some energy coming in. Breathe deep. Give yourself permission to feel whatever's arising and imagine it softening and flowing and moving. Make a sound. Use your body. Move your body. Shake it out. Move it out. Mm. Keep breathing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then when you think about how whenever you move through your day, there are things that sort of trigger the worry, maybe. And you know what those things are. I want you to imagine yourself slowing down when you start to notice what those things are. Maybe it's too much news, knowing what the things are that you need to do for yourself, like cutting back on that, or maybe it's how you react to others or to yourself about a topic or about the worry itself. Is it fight? Is it flight? Is it freeze? And I want you to lean back a little and take another breath and send a big wave of light and compassion into that whole scenario. Bring your hand back to your heart. Take another breath. Notice your feet, the sensations in your feet. Notice the earth. Imagine that your whole body is held in the planet. Consider that your body and the earth are so connected that there is this undeniable, unshakable power and strength that is coming into your body right now from Mother Earth, from Spirit, from the stars, from the moon, from the sun, from life itself. It's coming into your body and breath and mind and spirit and heart, into your inner temple. And I want you to remember that there is an energy of trust inside of you. That you can trust yourself. Imagine that you're making choices and decisions in alignment with your truth. That you can release the heaviness. That you can shift it. That you can respond to your own thoughts and emotions without reacting. That you can catch yourself sooner before you get caught up in the worry energy. And come back into alignment, come back to the earth, come back to that imagining of the receptivity. It's not just imagining, it's an actual activity of doing, of receiving. And asking for very clear assistance from the universe, from God, from Source, for assistance here and now in an affirmative way, saying, thank you. Thank you for showing me what I need to know. Thank you for reminding me that I have everything I truly need inside of me. Thank you for assisting me through this challenging process. I know that I am. I am. And as you say, I am, you're calling upon your higher self power and strength within. I am. And you bring up the awareness of power and strength. Remembering that you have within you everything that you need. Your soul is showing you the way. that there's an activity of life being played out in your life. And when you co-create with the divine in that way, in that gratitude space of thankfulness, that the solutions show up right when you need them, that the resources and the assistance is right there. That you can trust yourself to know what to do, to know how to be, to know what to say, to know where to go. And you can take the actions that are in alignment with your truth. So I want you to imagine now that there is a beautiful opening above your head, that you're receiving a beautiful white, bluish white light down into your body that's helping to just clear old stagnant energy, just really coming out through your feet into the earth again. Feeling into that compassionate, wise one energy within you. The spaciousness inside that's able to hold a space for all that is here. That is able to take care of you. That helps you remember that first and foremost, you can ask your heart, what do you need from me at this time? And that will show you the way. That will strengthen that intuition. So this full moon is a beautiful golden opportunity to sit in that energy of the intuitive flow, have compassion for everything that's going on, welcome this change that's here, that's helping to clear out what's just not in harmony with your truth. And I want you to now just invite in that real groundedness inside that helps you connect with the space beneath you that's holding you in a sacred container. It's holding space for you. And that you can always come back. Remember, you can always come back to that groundedness, that sacred container to hold you when you don't feel safe, and bring back the awareness and energy of your strength that is within you, and your intuition, which is your highest wisdom within your heart. And you might even say, I know what to do. I know what to do. I know what to do. So claim it. Okay. So that's tonight's channeling of heart wisdom and gift of healing and intuition for all of us. I invite you to take some time to journal, write down whatever was coming up for you or whatever insights came through in wisdom. Just write that down for yourself. Maybe take some time to do something very comforting and loving for yourself. You have a beautiful opportunity in the next few days to continue this work, drink extra water, do some real nourishing activities for yourself that are gentle. Gentle is strong. Gentleness is strength. The power of gentleness. Bring that in big time this week. Big time. That's going to be the soothing balm as we go through all these emotional transitions and shifts that are coming up, that you know are on the horizon. And, you know, this is where we're at. We chose to come into this world, this time, to be part of the shift. So here we are. So taking care of yourself, paramount, as you know. I'm probably preaching to the choir in this video. But it's always good to be reminded. Nurture yourself, rest, nature, water, all the things that make you feel like a sensual, loving, compassionate being toward yourself. You're in a body. You are a spirit. You are a being. Your body is an extension of your essence. Take care of it as best as you can. The same with your mind. And when I say take care of it, I mean give it lots of compassion. Lots of compassion for being a human in this lifetime. And how amazing you are for showing up. And how incredible that is. So all the things that you can do to stay in that frequency of gratitude, to shift the fear and the worry, and to trust and love, to tune back in with the compassionate, wise mind, to look at the big picture and remember we're all going through this thing, and to really tune in with your creative spirit, whatever it is that makes you feel creatively well, to create in whatever way you create. Do it, do that to fuel your energy and soothe your heart. Okay, bless you. Thank you so much for joining me. And take good care. If you would like to donate to my work and for this video, you're welcome to donate through PayPal, through my email, rachel.rbvision@gmail.com, or Venmo, which is Rachel Chase Rachel Chase 12. So yeah. And if you'd like to do some deeper work with me, you're welcome to reach out and we can talk about ways to do that together. Okay. Ciao for now. Sweet dreams.